Get free gift cards, PayPal, and much more with feature points.
What's up guys, Commander Alex here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the newest hero coming to Vainglory, Samuel. So I'm going to go over his abilities, then we're going to look at his abilities in game, look at him in game, talk about maybe what you should be building on him, and yeah, that's about going to be the video. So first off here, let's take a look at his actual abilities. First off, he is a laner, he is a mage, and he is a difficulty medium hero, which I feel like is about accurate. He has a pretty high skill cap, but he is effective at a lowish skill level, so he kind of evens out to like a medium skill cap, if you will. But yeah, let's take a look at his heroic perk. It's Corrupted Genius. Basically, every 6 seconds he has an empowered auto attack. The empowered auto attack does extra CP damage, scaling with level and with a CP ratio of 0.6. And then he also draws that power back into himself, restoring health based on his level and energy as well. So basically this is good for sustain in lane. If you're playing him in jungle, this is good for sustain in jungle. The one thing you have to keep in mind though is that the restorative effects are only 25% as effective against non-heroes. So basically you want to use this for trading. It's going to be nice and useful in a trade because you're going to get health back, you're going to get energy back, and you're also going to deal a lot more extra damage. But if you use it just farming minions, you're going to get a little bit of a heal and you're probably going to get the last hit, but it's just not as effective. So, you know, basically your trading in lane is going to kind of rotate off of if your passive is up, and if your passive is up, you're going to want to auto attack them. If you win that, maybe go in for a longer trade. So that's sort of where his passive works in here. Then we have his A ability, Malice and Verdict. It's pretty interesting and it's actually pretty complicated, so we're going to come back to that one, and we're actually going to go to his B, which actually interacts with his A. So first off, his B, Drifting Dark. Basically, it's this giant field of dark mist that comes out around Samuel and drifts forward in whatever direction he casts it. He creates a large field of darkness that slowly drifts forward, damaging enemies who stand inside it. If Samuel also stands inside it, he takes a small heal for the amount of affected targets. So basically, if you hit it on an entire team, you're going to get a pretty large heal. If you hit it on one person, you're going to get a kind of heal. But if you're inside, you are going to be healed if it's hitting someone. It's also going to deal AoE damage to everyone inside, and it's going to deal overtime damage. So every time that they stand in it for a little bit longer, it's going to deal a little bit more damage. So, you know, if they're standing in it for an entire team fight, that's going to add up to be quite a bit of damage. If they're only standing in it for a couple seconds, it's really not going to be that much damage. But it's a really, really nice zoning tactic, and it can really, really be useful because when you pair this with your A, you get some really cool things. So let's go back to his A here, Malice and Verdict. Basically, he has this ability where he can shoot 2 shots. He has 2 different wands, and he shoots 2 shots really quickly. And while he's shooting those, he can move in any direction. So basically, you choose a point, they shoot in that point, and as you're walking by, they continue to shoot. So you can shoot at different angles, but they're all going to end up in the same point, which sounds really complicated, but it's really fluid actually once you get to use it. And the really cool thing is that when you're inside your giant mist cloud from your B, you get extra range on those, you get extra damage on those, you get a slow on those, and they become AoE. So basically, they just get super, super strong when you're in your B. So yeah, if you're gonna use your B, use your A when you're inside it, because it just gets super crazy awesome. You also get a shorter cooldown on your A when you're inside your B. Wow, I'm using a lot of letters. Anyway, let's move on to his ultimate here, Oblivion. It's probably the strangest of his abilities, so I'm just going to read it off here, and then I'll kind of talk about how it's used. After a short delay, Samuel summons a phantasm at the target location, which puts nearby enemies to sleep. Enemies inflicted are unable to move or act, dealing direct damage to an enemy sleeping with an auto attack or ability will wake them up. Okay, we're going to hop into the game here. Basically, it puts them to sleep for quite a long time, and it deals a slight amount of damage to them. And then if you deal damage to them with any ability or auto attack or something, you're going to wake them back up. But like Taka's Kaku, it has a grace period, so you can't just, you know, immediately put them to sleep and wake them back up at the same time. All right, now let's hop back into a match here. Okay, we'll hop into solo practice match. We'll lock in Samuel here. I'm on the PvE, obviously that's why things don't look completely normal, but we're gonna hop into a match, we're gonna look at his abilities, and then we'll talk about kind of how they gel together, and then also, you know, some items that you might want to build on him. All right, so here's Samuel in game. Let's zoom in here so you guys can see him. I like his cape in the back. It has a really nice pattern. Anyway, if you look at the front, he has his 2 little wands there, his red and his white wand, and then his cape and everything. We'll get pot of gold, level juice here. We'll level him up nice and good. As far as level order on him goes, I like to max his A first, because it does really consistent damage and it's just really strong. Then I like to max his B and I leave his alt at 2 levels because his alt is great utility, but I don't feel like you get a lot out of it when you max it. So that's kind of where I like to go as far as levels go. Get some more gold here real quick. Sell those puppies, and let's just buy some clockworks to begin with here so that we can spam our abilities like crazy. All right, there we go. Look at the travel boots while we're at it. And so once we get out here, let's hop over to a minion down here and we can check out his passive. You auto attack it and you see that lightning effect is his passive when it procs. His normal auto attacks are just these little darts, but when he has that lightning effect, he gets the health back, he does the extra damage, it's good, all right? Now let's take a look at his unempowered A. So this is when you're not standing in your B. You're walking, and as you hit it, you continue to walk. I know it looks really strange, right? Like it doesn't look like it would be all that fluid, but you don't have to give another move command. It doesn't cancel move commands, so it allows you to, be really fluid in fights and, go very aggressive in fights, but at the same time, you can accidentally go a little too aggressive. All right, so let's take this thing down right here. And now let's look at his B. See, you cast it right there, comes out, does AoE damage. Pretty standard stuff, right? Nothing too crazy. But now let's look at his B when he has his, or his A when he has his B inside it. So you see right there, it does AoE damage, and it also does a little bit farther range. So it's really, basically, if you're inside your B, you're gonna want to use your A because it just becomes super, super strong, right? It does more damage, it does a longer range, it has a shorter cooldown, it might even have less energy cost. I don't know if that's actually one of the empowered things. But now that we've seen those abilities, actually, I got to show you his ultimate, don't I? All right. We can't have a hero spotlight and not even show the ultimate ability. So the ultimate, we'll do it on this minion over here. Basically, it has a pretty long range. But you cast it for a second, there's this like area of effect, and then you cast that thing, and they go to sleep. You see the Z's above their heads, and basically, either they'll run out of the duration for the sleep, or they will get woken up by damage from an auto attack or an ability or something. So, it's a pretty simple ability, but it's actually really useful in certain situations, especially when you're trying to flee. Like if you're disengaging and an entire team jumps on top of you, you drop your ultimate right on top of them, they all fall asleep, and then your team just quietly just walks away and they can't do anything about it. It's really, really funny. Though I do believe that you can reflex block his ultimate, so that's just something to keep in mind. I believe that actually ended up happening. As far as items you want to build on him, Broken Myth, do it. It's really good on him. Also, Eve of Harvest is really good because he has sustain with his passive. So the Eve of Harvest on top of that makes him, really hard to take down. And with the fact that he also has sustain from his B, it just kind of turns him into this like super healing hero that can't really get taken down, even though he has pretty low health to begin with. So I really like going Eve of Harvest on him. Normally I would go that like third item, but some people like to go for it earlier. As far as a second item or third item, depending on where you buy Eve, Frostburn works really good on him. Now the reason Frostburn works so well on him is because his B procs Frostburn, so you can get this AoE slow that they can't get out of because it's chasing them. Like it's actually super, super insane if it works. After that, you have a couple of options. Now, there's Aftershock, which you can actually get super early if you'd like for the extra poke in lane with your passive. The passive with the Aftershock proc just becomes crazy amounts of damage. At the same time, though, I personally don't like to go for it that early. But if you do go for it, it's going to be a great pickup for trading in lane because you can use it to proc on an enemy while you also get your passive proc for extra damage, plus the extra heal, plus the extra energy, and it just really makes those really one-sided trades, assuming that you trade at the right times. And then after that, you have pretty much whatever you want to do. You can get Journey Boots, which I personally like to go for because your B moves pretty quickly and you want to stay inside your B so that you can use your empowered A. So if you get Journey Boots, you have enough move speed to stick with your B and make sure you don't move out of it, even if you kind of move side to side every once in a while. So I like going for the Journey Boots. Although, if you're having energy problems, you can go Halcyon Chargers. It's not that bad. It's only 0.1 less move speed, so it's nothing too crazy. And then, again, you have some options. You can go full CP if you want, although I don't recommend it because, he tends to go pretty aggressive with how his A works and it not canceling move commands. So getting a little bit of tankiness is probably recommended, and I like to go for the reflex block into... Well, I can't even buy it here, can I? We'll sell that. Get the pot of gold here. Get some extra gold. Sell that again, and then I like to go for the Crucible if you're just going against mixed damage, or the Aegis if you're going against a CP team comp. And the reason for that is that the reflex block is just really good on carries. So that's something that's kind of universal for any carry in the game. A reflex block is a really good item for them. And yeah, that's about it. Obviously, you're going to go for the Crystal Infusion because you have CP-based abilities and even CP-based auto attacks at times. So yeah, that's pretty much what you're looking at for normal build on him. There's a bunch of different options you can go for. I know a lot of people have liked going for alternating current. I've heard that it's popular. Personally, I haven't had a lot of luck with it. But that's just me. So if you guys think that you have a build that would work really well, be sure to leave it in the comments down below. Tell me what you think of the new Samuel coming to the game in 1.21. And that's, I think, about all I have for you guys today. So thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.